From Cena accepting his selfish behavior to Dwayne opting out of Fast and Furious because of him. This is the John Cena and Dwayne Johnson beef explained. It all started with the champ's arrogance. You see, folks, when you're a 13-time WWE champion and have millions of fans worldwide who lovingly call you the perfect man, you're bound to get a little cocky from time to time. And that, right there, was Mr. Cena's Achilles heel. He loved his job so much that he started to think that no one else could be as loyal as he was to the WWE. In his eyes, The Rock was one of many wrestlers who betrayed the industry that gave them fame. That's what started the feud, and I'll jog your memories on that whole thing in a hot sec. But looks like someone has finally decided to own up to his mistake. Yep, it's true. On the Happy Sad Confused webcast, John got a bit nostalgic and reflected on his little tiff with Dwayne Johnson back in 2012. The chain gang soldier admitted that he was selfish and didn't have the ability to see things from someone else's point of view. So he's clearly not the empath he thought he was, because his head was so far up in the clouds. He didn't believe that Dewey meant it when he claimed that he loved WWE. For Cena, his rival was just being disingenuous. Dwayne's one of the biggest names in Hollywood and has an insane net worth of $800 million. So juggling the wrestling and acting hustles seems to be working out for him pretty well, even though it's a betrayal, according to Cena. The Rock's in the Fast and Furious series, which everyone knows is a whopping success. And he's also done some other really great films like The Mummy Returns, Jumanji, and Moana. So his Hollywood work has made him one of the biggest stars in the industry, and it makes sense for The Rock to want to stay, because why wouldn't he? He's making millions and simultaneously winning billions of hearts. But apparently, this pissed Cena off back when he was an extreme WWE fanboy. He talked about how much of a hypocrite The Rock's been in the past, because he believed that no one who truly loved wrestling that much would ever just leave. But his mistakes have become clear to him, especially since he's doing the same thing now. Ironic, right? The Peacemaker actor has starred in several of his own projects, including The Marine, Bumblebee, and F9. So he's also busy climbing the Hollywood ladder, aka the same thing he hated Dwayne for. In fact, he even believes that WWE stars who are entering the film industry are breaking barriers, which sounded pretty two-faced to fans. Now that he's one of those actors, he magically understands that his beliefs were problematic. In fact, his complete 180 didn't end there. He also praised all the wrestler-turned-actors, and even went as far as to admit that he was narrow-minded back then. But now believes that he should have handled the matter privately, instead of publicly dissing his ex-nemesis, because his attitude is what leads to all the bad vibes between them. Looks like Cena really needed an attitude readjustment of his own back then, but he's realized where he went wrong since then. But with all his self-reflection, has Dwayne forgiven John? Word on the street is that he has, because The Rock is willing to work with the champ. When speaking to Andy Cohen, the Fast and Furious actor said that he was pretty much over the feud, and that he's more than willing to work with John in the future. Because yesterday's enemy can be an ally tomorrow, right? He also mentioned that the two have moved beyond something that happened around a decade ago. But Dwayne also spoke about how he felt when John called him a sellout for choosing Hollywood over WWE. According to the 51-year-old, he just didn't like the way his ex-nemesis phrased the whole thing, and that's what really got under his skin. But this wasn't the only time Dwayne publicly commented on his relationship with Cena. He opened up about his feelings another time too, saying that even though they had a great rivalry on screen, the world of wrestling was just a fictionalized thing. But ever since then, John not only publicly apologized for his mess up, but he also approached both The Rock and his mother to individually ask for forgiveness, and the whole thing is pretty much over. It did take The Rock a long time to move past him, but can we really blame him though? Because remember when John Cena fully shamed Dwayne Johnson in 2008? That's right, there was the event that started one of the craziest rivalries in history of the WWE, but since it happened so long ago, let me revive your memories and remind you what John said that was so awful that these two men had to fight it out in the ring over the next few years. In 2008, the Cenation leader believed that while he thinks Dwayne is a good actor, he gets pretty pissed off thinking that a guy who claims to love WWE so much never really shows up to any of the events. He went as far as to say that a lot of The Rock's fortune was because of his WWE fans, but the guy just never had the decency to give back, because all he would do was drop by and say hi from time to time. Shots were indeed fired, and that's probably why The Rock wanted to get back at him so badly that he took the first chance he got to strike John. 3 years later, WrestleMania 27 became a Rock-Cena battleground. In one of the most highly anticipated main events of the night, Dwayne saw a chance to get back at his rival. And during the fight, the Black Adam star jumped into the ring and punished his rival, costing him his WWE Championship title. That one must have hurt. But hey, John asked for it, didn't he? And since The Rock was the host of the show, he couldn't let that opportunity go, especially because the rumors suggested that part of the reason why he was so fired up to come back was to respond to John's comments. He hinted at this himself in the promo for his return, which, by the way, was happening after 7 whole years. After announcing his comeback, the Hollywood superstar subtly decided to mock John by mimicking his "you can't see me" catchphrase. And that was a good one, because now that catchphrase has become a universal meme, and you probably know that if you've been on the internet for even a second lately. So technically, all fans had John to thank for The Rock's ultimate comeback, but WrestleMania 27 wasn't the end of it, and these two fought each other for 2 more years. If Dwayne thought that he could just get away with costing Cena his title, he was clearly wrong. 'Cause after a whole year of randomly dissing each other at events, both privately and publicly, the two of them finally competed in the ring at WrestleMania 29. The match was super intense and had the audience in a chokehold, and by the end of it, The Rock crushed the champ and showed the world he could be both an actor as well as one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. But everyone knows Cena's motto is to never give up. So the year after that, these two competed again, and this time, John was finally able to settle the score by winning. Of course, all of this was scripted for a show, and the former face of the WWE has since then admitted that part of the reason why he started the fight was 'cause he wanted a big WrestleMania main event because it was good for the business he was a part of. Little did he know that this little strategy would cause so many problems between the two actors that they'd end up getting real personal. He also took note of how short-sighted he was to do something like that for selfish gains, because it actually upset The Rock to the point where the actor opted out of Fast and Furious, all 'cause of John. Yep, rumors have gone as far as to suggest that the reason why The Rock wasn't a part of F9 was mainly because his former rival had joined the team and was playing this new character, Jakob Toretto. Now, The Rock had been a recurring character in the last 4 films, so fans were a bit disappointed to see that he hadn't made a comeback. Lots of people speculated that Johnny Boy's involvement may have been a factor, and while some denied it, it wouldn't be that big of a surprise if this was one of the reasons, keeping in mind how rough things had gotten between them. But then again, John has apologized several times, and The Rock claims to have forgiven him. So who knows? They might have genuinely moved past their drama. And so, from Johnson opting out of Fast and Furious 'cause of him, to Cena accepting his selfish behavior. That was John Cena and Dwayne Johnson Beef Explained.